Welcome back to another episode of the Risk Takers Podcast presented by HYM Enterprises. This is a show where we feature esteemed business leaders of Southwest Florida as they provide us insights into their business and personal journey. My name is Harold Matos and I'm your host. And today I'm joined by a co-host. She's a business juggernaut in the Southwest Florida area. Her name is Jessie Mendoza. Jessie, can you please let the viewers know, all the titles that you hold?
I'm Jessie Mendoza, CEO and owner of Dash Lifestyle. It's a business to help local business owners in Southwest Florida boost their business through events. I also am the Southwest Florida business developer for a title company, and I also run a marketing team for accident referrals.
Today's risk taker is a published author, public speaker, international host, and has been honored with an honorary doctorate in humanity. The risk takers would like to welcome Dr. Ivan Suarez, aka Chico Boom.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? Jesse, how are you?
Man, how's everything, man? How's lot business? How are you feeling mentally, spiritually, and physically?
Everything's great. I can't complain. Everything is fantastic, and I mean, blessings, man. Blessings on top of blessings.
All right, obviously, we shared the stage at the Men's Empowerment event in downtown Fort Myers in February 2024. What was a takeaway or two that you got from that?
Well, takeaway for me was seeing a group of gentlemen that got together here in the community to pour onto other men. I mean, that's something that's needed. I think that's something that's not done enough, and I think that more people in the community need that. So seeing all of us come together for that cause, for that purpose, it was something that I took away from that, something good, something positive.
Yeah, no, and I think the turnout, was really good. I was surprised how many people rolled out of bed, at 10 o'clock on a Saturday. And also, some people wasn't aware of who Brian was or Glenn or maybe even you. And so on that same topic, can you take us back to Ivan before the speaker or Barber? And are you originally from this area? Or?
Yeah, I grew up here in Southwest Florida, and about the age of 11 is when I picked up a pair of clippers. It's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to try it out. I was fascinated by, urban movies and shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Kid and Play, and I wanted to mimic those haircuts. I don't know why a pair of clippers, but it was that. And my father, bought me my first pair of clippers. I remember he took me, my sister, and my brother to a Walmart, which back then there was no super Walmart. It was a little small department store.
The green Walmart?
Yeah, no. Before they had neighborhood Walmarts, these were like little TJ Maxx's or something like that, small like that. And he said you guys can all pick out one thing. My brother, being the more athletic one, he picked up like a football. My sister picked up a VHS because it wasn't even DVDs back then. And I picked up a pair of clippers, and I put my brother on the toilet in the bathroom at home when we went home, and I went to work on him and gave him a bow cut all the way around, and that was the beginning.
Now, is that did you get your nickname at home? Did your brother give it to you, or what was it?
No, the nickname was a street name. I didn't pick that name. It was a name that was given to me. A lot of blacks in the Fort Myers community called Spanish people Chicos. Mm-hmm. So they used to call me Chico. And it was a street name because I was moving some weight, and they were like, Chico, you booming, Chico. Damn, Boom, you're booming, Chico, you're booming. And then Chico Boomz kind of went with that, and it just stuck with me. And then obviously throughout my journey or whatever, and changing my life around, getting a new perspective on life, and just transferring my energy and my attention to legitimate things, positive things, that I wanted that name to be remembered for good, not for bad.
Now, what inspired you to start a business in the beauty industry? I know you say you used to cut your brother in the bathroom, but did you have any early influences?
No, I mean, it's just something that I was fascinated with. Even though I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I always wanted to be a barber, but then, being caught up in the street life or whatever, you're still doing your thing or whatever. But the barber shop was something that always intrigued me. And I used to go as a teenager to a place called Intrigue on Fowler, and I used to watch them cut hair.
No pun intended.
Yeah. So it intrigued me, right? So back then there was no urban barbershops here in Fort Myers. There wasn't like a lot of Spanish, Latino barbershops. It was either like you went to like First Choice or or one of those type of little cookie cutter type of
What year was this at the
barbershop.
time?
We're talking late 90s, early 2000s maybe. You know, and I used to go over there as a teenager and watch them cut hair, and they just had a whole, you know, rhythm and about them, and it was like watching the movie before the movie Barbershop even came out. You know, they had a big box TV in there, and there was two sides. It was like the woman's side and there was the guy's side, and the guy's side was kind of like this. All the barbers were on one side, and then they had like plastic lawn chairs, the white ones, you know, that people use for barbecues. And they had them, that was the waiting area. So the phone would ring and then they would pick up the phone. It was, I remember the barbers, they were Cheney and Tom Tom back then. So shout out to them boys, because they're older now and they're still in the groove and still cutting, still doing their thing. So the phone would ring and then they would throw it behind their back. The other one would catch it, yo, what's up? And while they're cutting, the football games going on. So it was a whole vibe. But and you walked in there, it smelled like a barber shop. You could smell the aftershaves and the talcs, and I just loved going there. I loved seeing them, and I wouldn't get a haircut. I would just watch and then go practice at home on myself, and that really intrigued me, going to intrigue. And later on, I just had that want to wanna have that at one point. And back then I was thinking like, hey, if I could just have a little small shop in a corner of a plaza somewhere with one or two chairs. That's how I was thinking back then. And I'll just grow old there and cut hair and that's it. You know, that was the goal.
Yeah, they used to call those unisex.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Unisex.
Yeah, unisex. Yeah.
Unisex. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, how many barbershops you own right now? And yeah, how many barbershops you own right now?
2 right now. I had 3. I sold one to one of my barbers a few years ago, and he was actually one of my clients. Then he went to school to be a barber, and then he graduated. But the kid he had a very strong characteristics of a leader, and he was a well-rounded individual for being the young age that he was. And a few years went by and he was like, hey, I want to buy the shop. You know, I got an emotional attachment to it, whatever the case. And I sold him that shop, and I stayed with my 2. I have Boomz Barbershop that's been here in Fort Myers for 15 years, same location. And I have the Black Sheep Men's Parlor where we're at now. And this has been open for 6 years.
Was the goal to always have more than one barbershop?
No, the goal was originally just to have a little shop, and I was, you know, just gonna cut hair and then just be this little old viejito, little old man cutting hair, and I was okay with that. You know, the goals I think in life change as you get older. Every time, you know, you reach a level or in your life, you should set more goals, and I think that should be anybody and everybody's perspective on life. You know, we're not meant to just stay put and stay in position. It's like we're meant to keep growing and continue to grow. So people get content. People don't want that. People say, hey, well, I reached my goal and this is what I want to do. And that's fine if that works for you, but I challenge anyone that has set a goal to set new goals and continue. You don't know how far it's going to take you.
One of the things that catches my attention is that you discovered your passion at an early age. And that's what maybe a lot of people don't, you know, have in order to be successful. So around what age was it that you discovered that you really liked that? I know you said teens, but
yeah, no, I was 11. I knew for sure. Like wow. I'm the type of person I knew when I want something, I go for it. There's no, you know, thinking about it too much. It's like I want it, I'm gonna get it, it's mine. And I've read a lot of books and I've seen a lot of podcasts and I've seen a lot of videos and tapes, audios or whatever, and they were talking about manifestation. I was doing manifestation before manifestation was a thing, you know. Like I saw something and I just wanted it and I was set for it, and I've always been like that since I was a kid. I'm 42 now and I'm still like that. You know, the way I met my girl. I saw her, I wanted it, I got her. You know, everything that I've ever wanted in my life, I've went for it and I've gotten it.
And I think that's what makes the difference of being successful, you know, putting your passion, even if it's a small, you know, vision that you have, like you said, but let me go after it and then look how it has brought you, you know, to where you're at right now, you know, and you inspire people. That's how I met you, that's how I met you, you know, through social media and inspiring and being a motivational speaker that you are now, so.
I appreciate that. And I think that a lot of people need to just they're scared. The fear is always like holding them back. When you let go of fear and you take chances, you be like, I don't give a damn if it works out or not, but I'm going to try. because I've been at rock bottom. I know what having nothing feels like. So I'm not scared to go back to that. Do I want to go back to that? No, nobody wants to go back. You only want to move forward and upward. But I'm not scared either. Like if I got to jump in those trenches, if I got to jump in that water with those sharks, I'm going to jump in there because I'm a shark. And that's how you got to view yourself. If people held themselves at a higher standard and they let go of the fear and believed in themselves, they would take more chances in life, throughout life. And they would set new goals and they would keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. But, content, fear, procrastination, those are all deadly things that hold people back from achieving their dreams and aspirations.
Yeah, and you can't have fear and faith at the same time.
No, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
So what made you pivot to motivational speaking?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, after I opened up a couple shops, because again, goals. I opened up the first one, 2 years later, I'm the type of person I get bored quick. I have to be doing something. And it has to be, the wheel has to constantly be turning. If it's not turning, I feel like I'm stuck. And I got to keep moving. So I've always had a passion for teaching people how to cut hair. And I was teaching my sister how to cut hair, and I got her in the beauty industry. She's killing it right now. And I always had a passion for that, teaching people. Even the kid that was next to me from Cuba, he was with me 10 years. I taught him how to cut hair. I taught him how to perfect his craft. I taught him what it was to be a professional barber, customer service, the little things that people don't look at when you think about when you're talking about cutting hair. People just think cutting hair. It's the little details, right? So I wanted to pour onto other people, so I started going to shows and stuff like that. And I met a gentleman by the name of Curtis Smith, who at that time was Diddy's barber and usher at the same time. That was his biggest celebrities. And I met him going to his show. And there was another gentleman that I met there that used to be Tupac and Biggie's barber, which is DL Master Barber. And building a relationship with those guys, getting out of Fort Myers and saying, hey, I'm going to go somewhere else. So I went to Tampa first, met these guys. Then I started following them around because they had a whole tour, and they would do different cities throughout the year. Well, DL does a 360, comes back to Tampa, and he's in Tampa. Now, mind you, he lives in California. And he says, hey, Boom, I'm in California. At that time, we were already maybe, a year in of knowing each other, having conversations and stuff. And he says, come to Tampa. I want you to come. I'm doing a motivational speech. I want you to open up for me. And I want you to tell your story because we've had conversations. And he always told me back then, he said, you got something about you. You got something about you. But I was already hearing that as a kid in church because I grew up in church. And before I even opened my mouth, the elders in the church would tell my mom, oh, that boy, he's anointed. He has a calling. But I never spoke, so how do they know that, right? Yeah. So anyways, right. So now DL's telling me the same thing as an adult now. So I go to Tampa and open up for him. And afterwards, he's like, man, you killed it. You need to work on this. You need to work on that. Because it was a whole different raw and uncut Boom. and I went in there just like a drill sergeant or whatever. But that's what pushed me towards the motivation side. Because by then I was already getting into the education, but I still wanted to do more education and teaching people in the beauty industry and whatnot and do that. But I also saw a way to incorporate motivation and inspiration into the education to give students and seasoned professionals a different perspective, a different outlook, and a more of a push in this industry, and showing them, hey, if I could do it from everything that I've been through and where I come from and where I'm at today, then you could do it. And I'm not stopping today. I'm going to keep going. Come with me. Let's go. Let's keep growing together.
The first time you touched the stage, you told us, did you get booed that first time, or has there any other time you been booed?
I never got booed.
Never.
I never got booed because I bring them that big Boom energy every time, and I pour. I speak from my heart. A lot of those speeches are not written. Some are, but even when I'm writing, it comes from the heart, and I stay up late, and pour my all into anything that I'm doing. And when I hit that stage, I feel like people are giving me the most precious thing that they can give me. And it's not money, it's their time. And how disrespectful would that be to give them a 2 or a 3 when I know I could perform way better at a 10. So I give everybody, whether a group of 3 people, whether a group of 3,000 that I've spoken in front of, I give everybody the same amount of energy, and I give them the same rawness of me. You see, I give them a piece of me, and everywhere that I've spoken at, I've left a little piece of me behind. and I've given them that. And here, this is yours. Do something with it. You see, so I've never gotten booed off of any stage or a classroom or any sort of setting.
So I like what you say, that you've left a little piece of Ivan every time you speak, and I know that throughout your stages that you've also had the heart to help other people and like teach them and teach young teenagers. About how many have you actually helped throughout that you have dedicated that time? Do you know?
Nah, thousands, because you know I'm on a global level now, and there's so many people in different countries that I'm touching now. And I was going back to manifestation, right? Yeah. Using that word. I think it's a word that's been like cliche. It's watered down. People use it and don't really understand it. But I was hashtagging. I remember back in 2012. You can go back to in my Instagram post. I was hashtagging worldwide, hashtag international, hashtag boom. Worldwide internet. This is before I had even left the state. You see, so I was already putting it out there, and I remember saying it one day. I was like, I'm gonna be on stages, and this is before this is before any of it. I'm gonna be on. This is like 2 years into my barbershop. I'm gonna be on stages. I'm gonna help people, and I'm gonna do motivational speaking, and around that time with DL and stuff like that. So, I say this to say that happened, and it's taken me all around the world. And I've helped people all around the world, whether we've done academies in China, we Europe, South America. So it's been so many people, and that's why I was recognized and honored with the honorary doctorate in humanitarianism. But I couldn't give you an exact number.
Yeah, you envisioned it. Is there any particular person that you remember as far as the teenagers that you've helped?
Yeah. My little homie Zemo, that used to work for me at the barbershop. You know, I had him under my wing from the time he was a child into his teenage years. And I think Zemo should be about 19, 20 now. But that's someone who I forever love. His mother I was friends with. I'm still friends with her, and his father. His father was incarcerated for a very long time. And Zemo needed that male guidance around him, because he has two great uncles that are in his life as well, but it takes a village. You know, those uncles work, and where was Zemo after school while his mom's working? You know, I felt like the barbershop was a safe haven for him, where he can come and be amongst men and know and see how men operate and how to run a business. And when I tell you that boy went from sweeping hair and cleaning toilets to actually managing my shop in a way, helping the manager that I had there, because he was the one answering the phones. He was making appointments for people. He was the one greeting people, and he took that job very serious. And that's somebody that, you know, comes from a great family, but still needed an extra role model and guidance. And I always had a soft spot for that kid. And he's a great kid, and he's watching. You know, he knows that I love him. You know, and I always will.
All right, so. In the past, what's the most toxic thing an employee or a business partner has done to you, and how did you move forward from that?
Jeez, there's so many levels of toxicity that I can't say a business partner, but I could say barbers that I had in my shop. You know, it was all type of toxicity, man.
Was that one that was like I'm not gonna say lives rent free in your head, but.
It's not.
It made you paranoid.
It wasn't that. It just like took me over the edge. Like I was pissed. You know, it was somebody that was doing illegal transactions in my parking lot, and I have a zero tolerance for that. You know, I don't play no games when it comes to my business. That's my bread and butter. I built a strong name and a reputation in this community off of that barbershop. That barbershop has helped a lot of people. That barbershop has been a safe haven for children. That's a barbershop that families go to. So I take that very serious when it comes to women and kids. And that right there took me over the top. So I don't think it was so much just toxic. It was just really disrespectful and a slap in the face that I would give you this opportunity. I would give you a doorway, a platform to build yourself. Because any barber that's ever gone in there whether they had no clientele or they had some clientele, they really made a name for themselves in that shop. It gave a lot of people a lot of opportunity. So for someone to do that was really a low blow, real disrespectful, and I got them up out of there real quick too.
Did they ever apologize after that?
I don't know. I don't need an apology, and there's nothing to be sorry about. That's who you are, and that's cool. That's you live your life, homie. You know, I don't need an apology off of that.
Ivan, who has been the biggest celebrity that you have had the opportunity to cut their hair?
I don't know. It was so many. I don't want to highlight the funny ones, man. You got a lot of fugazi dudes. I'll tell you my favorite celebrity that I cut was Big Papi David Ortiz. In the highlight of his career, you know, and he was a very, very gentle giant, is what I'm gonna call him. Very, very nice, good, down to earth dude. I mean, you're talking about a multi-millionaire. He could arguably be the Michael Jordan of baseball in his own sense, right? And he could get his haircut anywhere in the world, and he was coming right there to the cutting zoo, right next to Cache. So I think that. I don't want to say biggest, I want to say my favorite big celebrity was Big Papi, so yeah.
All right, well, what personal habits or routines have contributed the most to your success?
Oh, that's a good question. There's so many different things that, you know, right now I'm doing a lot of morning walks that we're doing. Just something that I've been doing is trying not to spend time on the phone so much and just clear your mind. Reading books has always been something for me that has been a great part of my success. Reading books, listening to motivational audios, exercising, obviously, like just, you know, taking care of your body, praying, meditation. Prayer has always been a thing with me. My relationship with God, I say scratch all that. It all starts with him. And my relationship with God is what got me here. God got me here. God gave me my children. God gave me my family. God gave me my business. God gave me my financial status. God did that. So I can't say that there was a specific regimen. Now, putting him first and giving him thanks every morning before I wake up, you know, as soon as I crack my eyes and before I go to bed, I'm always talking to God. I talk to God at least 5 times a day throughout the day. So I think that God gets the glory for my success. Now, God is going to give you opportunities, but you have to fight too. You got to run too. He's going to give you that work. Right. He's going to give you that racetrack. But if you don't get out there and run, you're never going to hit the finish line. You see, so God created that racetrack for you to run, but you got to get your ass up there and run though. If you just sit around, you know, you're wasting a valuable time and your purpose is going to go right by you. It's going to pass you by. So I think that God is my daily regimen, but I've added other things to better it, like, again, letting go of the phone in the mornings, you know, having real conversations and, you know, planning days out, writing down what I want to do either the night before or that morning while I'm having coffee, and just like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and then attacking those things one by one. But also, again, exercising, and we've been doing morning walks, and we did like almost 3 miles yesterday. So I think those things contribute to a better, healthier life. And when you're living a better, healthier life, then I think, and have, you know, obviously putting God first, I think you have a more successful day, a more successful week, and then a more successful year at the end.
And that's amazing. I think, you know, that praying. So prayer is a conversation with God. That's one too. And a man that's not led by God is not meant to, can't lead anybody. So I think, you know, that's definitely important. But go ahead, Jess.
So for me, being a woman and being and knowing the importance that family is, how do you keep a balance with everything that you do and everything, you know, as far as successful that you are, how do you keep the family balanced?
Well,
on your time?
I think anybody that's as busy as me, because, I mean, there's people that's busy, but there's very few that are as busy as me. I've met some, but when I tell you I'm busy, I'm busy. And I think that and like the old saying go, behind every great man is a great woman. And I think that's the person that you keep next to you every day. Who do you wake up to every day? Who do you lean on every day? Who's your backbone? Who's your strength? Who's the one keeping you in line when you are dealing with things and you're getting off a track? So I think that I got to give props to my girl, my partner, and keeping me in line on certain things, and kept keeping that balance, because, your kids need attending to. They still, no matter how successful you are or whatever the case, they still need what they need. I think people get caught up in like, oh, the dad is not there. He's always working. So my thing is like, naturally as men, we're designed to be hunters, to be gatherers, to go out there. We weren't designed to be in the house with them kids at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're supposed to be out there getting it and providing and doing more for, you see, and I think people get caught up in that. It's like, oh, you work too much. Yeah, but I'm working for them, and yes, I do make time for them. Yes, there is a sense of balance, but
quality time.
Right, quality time and stuff like that, but I think a man's job is, and purpose is, to go out there and work. I've seen people that are 70 years old and they stop working, they die. And I've seen other people that continue to work until they're 85, so yeah, I say the person that you keep, the company you keep, is very important. Who's your backbone? Who's your kickstand? Who's your your clutch? Who's in it with you through the thick and thin, through the long nights, through those flights, through those going to another country, to the going through TSAs. All that is frustrating, man. Them hotels and they didn't get your rental car, and then you book the rental car, but then you don't have a car. There's so many things that go wrong when you're traveling and doing everything that I'm doing, and you're building, and they take care of all of that for you. So it's like, that's major. That's a major key.
What personal habits contribute to your success, Jesse?
What personal habits? I mean, for me, I go back to what he just said. For me, it's God. I also start my day praying. I go to sleep praying, and I try to keep as humble as I could be when opportunities come to my hands, and I just pray about them, and that's it. I would say it's God for me.
I want to add too, because you don't have to be a Bible thumper to have a relationship with God. And I think people think that. They're like, well, I'm not there yet. I don't want to go to church, or I don't want to talk to God, or I don't want to this, I don't want that, because I'm not perfect. Well, guess what? Nobody's perfect. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be a Bible thumper to have a relationship with God. You see, and there's extremists in all different types of forms. Mm-hmm. And if you're extreme about God, that's cool. You know what I mean? Love him with everything in you. Nothing wrong with that. But don't look down at people that do believe in God and have a relationship with God, but maybe aren't on the right track that you would call the right track. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think people judge other people and stuff. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
And I believe everybody runs their life, as they feel, because you're gonna, obviously you're gonna feel that what you're doing is right. So you're gonna do whatever you feel it's right. We're nobody to judge. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And people wander around looking for the perfect church, but what happens is the minute they go into that church is no longer perfect, because they're not perfect. So it's just one of those things, for them to keep in mind. All right, so shifting gears, talk to us about receiving, the honorary doctorate.
Well, a few years ago, I got a call that I was receiving an honorary doctorate in humanitarianism. And humanitarianism, I had to look up the word. I said, what is that's a long word, man. What does that mean? And it's basically helping people. You've helped people so much. You've gone around the world and back. You continue to help people. You continue to inspire people. You continue to motivate people. And Dr. T. Thomason blessed me with honorary doctorate in humanitarianism. And she said, you are now Dr. Ivan Suarez. No one can take this title for you, because you put in the hard work. You didn't go to school for it. We honored you with it because you did everything that requires you to have this doctorate without anybody telling you to, or without having to, get a scholarship, go to school for it, anything. You did it, and you did it naturally, and we want to honor you with that. And I was wowed by it. It was during the pandemic, so you had, a lot of misconception or misunderstanding of what, the pandemic was, what coronavirus was. You know, you had
people calling you trying to see if you can come get them right, the catching COVID.
No, it wasn't that. I couldn't walk the stage, you know, because I got sick, and when the little test and you do the little swab, and it said that I had coronavirus, which whatever, right? So I was like, damn, I can't be around people or whatever like that. I'm going off of guidelines back then. Remember, this is coronavirus at its peak. And my sister actually went and walked the stage with me, and quite a few people, a small group, a nice group, and Dwayne Wade's dad was actually one of the recipients that received honorary doctors with me, myself. So my sister got the diploma for me, and I was able to get my cap and gown and take some pictures and share that with the world. And that was a very, very beautiful moment because, again, you know, coming from where I come from to receive that, and it was a big wow. But I don't look at it as it was for me type of thing. I think that, again, God does a lot of things and allows a lot of things to happen. Anybody that helps people could have got that honorary doctor. There's probably people that do way more than me, but maybe a lot more people see me than they see them. And maybe God used me or chose me so that other people, you know, that come from East Fort Myers the same way I do, can see that and be motivated by that and say, wow, if he could do it, I definitely could do it. Because you got a lot of people that are more talented than me, that do more behind the scenes than me, that help a lot more people than me. But what sets me apart is I just have a different type of drive and a different type of mindset. I just don't stop. And, you know, obviously someone saw that, and again, it wasn't for me, it was for the world. Learn from it, grow from it, you know, get inspired by it and do it.
So before we wrap up, what is the one key of advice that you would give to any risk taker?
Oh, I say it all the time, you know, with two things. I'm gonna give them two. I don't want to give them just one, but two things. I always, and I have this on my Facebook, and it's not what you go through in life, it's how you bounce back that determines who you are as an individual. And the second thing, and it's on my thermos, on my Yeti, and it's a saying that I have: the best thing in life that you can invest in is yourself. You know, before you go out there and get a job, before you go out there and build someone else's dream, build your own dream. Build your own dream, pour onto you. And yes, it might be hard. Yes, you may not see a turnaround right away. Yes, you're gonna be some long nights. Yes, you might have to go on a strict budget. Yes, you might have to not be able to eat the food you want to eat or go out with your friends or go to those fancy restaurants. But I promise you, if you keep at it, 2, 3, 5 years from now, doesn't matter, you're gonna be in a whole nother level, on a whole nother plateau. And it was all because you invested in yourself. But every day that goes by, that you wait, every day that you procrastinate, you put yourself in a mental prison, in a box. So you think about it, 1 month went by and you didn't get to what you wanted to get to. That's 1 month that you did in a mental prison. 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. And then all of a sudden you get old and you die, and none of your dreams and none of your aspirations came to life. And you were the one responsible for those dreams and aspirations to come to life. So believe in yourself, invest in yourself, give it all you got. You got a little income tax check coming, put that towards you and your dreams and your vision.
Yes.
And yes, that's another episode of the Risk Takers Podcast. I want to thank Boom and also Jess Mendoza for being here. My name is Harold Matos. Thank you.
And you know what it is. Boom, baby.
I love it.